And we are live on the United Public Radio Network, UPRN 107.7 FM New Orleans, and UPRN live streaming me everywhere, wherever podcasts live. My YouTube channel, Facebook Live, wherever podcasts live. We're not hard to find. This is Father Shawn's Paranormal Ministry. I'm your host, Father Shawn Whittington. I'm an ordained Catholic priest with the United States Old Catholic Church. I'm a fully professed brother with the Old Catholic Benedictines of Immaculate Mary. I'm a team member of Society of St. Benedict and co-founder of GhostBegone.biz. And yeah, I'm that guy on Eli Roth Presents The Legion of Exorcists on Travel Channel, which is currently streaming everywhere. If you happen to be one of those people that continues to discover the show out there in streaming land and reaching out to me with such wonderful comments and support over the show, God bless you. That really means a lot to me. Thank you for that. Don't know yet if it's going to be a season 2. We're keeping our fingers crossed. Hasn't been canceled, just hasn't been greenlit for a season 2 yet. So we're keeping our fingers crossed. Anything you want to know about my wife and I and our ministry work, go to our website, www.ghost-b-gone.biz. And if you go there to visit, there's a lot of cool things to see there. Both my books are there, God, Ghosts, and the Paranormal Ministry, and God, Ghosts, and the Paranormal Ministry 2. You can get them a little less expensive at Amazon, and they also come in an audio version. But if you buy them off of the website, they leave my office here. I autograph them, and they arrive to you in a beautiful house blessing kit. And you never know when one of those are going to come in handy. And if you buy them off the website, part of the proceeds of every sale of every copy of my books goes to support stjude.org and St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, Nevada, and the ASPCA. So how cool is that? You get to help some of the neediest children on the planet and the animals too. So that's a wonderful thing. What else is there on the website? My online course, Introduction to Spiritual Warfare. This is a course for all you true warriors for Christ out there that want to learn how to draw your line in the sand, make a stand, circle the wagons, put up a good fight, perhaps the fight of your life, against, God forbid, true evil if it ever comes calling. That's the course for you. There's no other course like it out there, no other instructor like the instructor of this course out there. So you can enroll in the course there. It's 12-week online course, college level. All of my students that graduate get a stunning diploma, certificate of completion suited for framing, along with some other very special blessed gifts that you can only get from yours truly. So you can enroll there. If you want more information on the course syllabus and the course itself before making that type of commitment, just reach out to me. We'll talk about it and see if the course is right for you. But like I said, you can just enroll there on the website. What else is there? There's a place on the website where you can make an appointment to speak with me about your spiritual issues, not paranormal, but spiritual. And most importantly, remember, brothers and sisters, my wife and I, we don't charge for our ministry work, helping people with their paranormal issues. So if you happen to notice the donate button and you're able to do so, click on it and send my ministry in a small donation. I promise you, it'll be appreciated from the bottom of our hearts. And trust me, we'll put it to good use. What else do I want to tell you guys? Oh, really important. I'm going it alone today. It'll just be me and my wonderful guest today. My co-host Annette is having a very serious family medical issue. So please, dealing with her brother. So please keep Annette, her brother, and her family in your prayers. And I'm sure we'll be seeing Annette very soon. But I know she would appreciate that, and I would appreciate that too. Keep Annette, her brother, and her family in your prayers today. I have a awesome guest today, but you all already knew that. That's why you tuned in. First time meeting him, so I'm excited because I just know through the grapevine I've heard that he's just a really cool guy, and so I'm excited to meet him. And it's another first for me. This is the first time I've interviewed somebody who's in Argentina, so that is very very cool. And hello Argentina. Um, anyway, without further ado, what can I say about this guy? Very talented, very passionate ghost hunter, ghostbuster, paranormal investigator, TV, radio, film personality, host, and creator of Bruce Paranormal, which is he's got a channel on YouTube that'll just blow you away. You got to go there and check it out, Bruce Paranormal. Brothers and sisters, please give a big, warm paranormal ministry family welcome to Bruce J, the Latino ghost hunter.
Yes, that's awesome. That is so awesome.
How you doing, brother?
How you doing? Hello to everybody that is watching right now. I mean, this is awesome. Thank you for having me. Really awesome to be here.
Brother, like I said, it's been a long time coming. When I reached out to you, what was it, like 4 months ago? I said, listen, I understand if booking you out this far in advance is you don't do that, but I'd really love to have you on the show, and you let me book you, and I've been looking forward to it. And so let's just have fun. Listen, I got to ask you. You know, you've been doing this a long time. I've been in this thing of ours a long time, the paranormal field. You and I have both seen people come and go. Ghost hunters. It seems like every time I go online, there's a new ghost hunter that I've never seen before out there doing his thing. Sometimes they stick around, sometimes they don't. A lot of them, I'm going to get hate mail for this, but a lot of them, they see a TV show, and they said, "Oh, I can do that," and you can kind of tell they're not going to be around very long, and they're a para hobbyist, if you will. But then there's those elite guys, which I'm going to throw you in that category. Guys that you can tell are very passionate about what they do, got a lot of knowledge, um, and they do it the right way, and they're around for a long time doing their thing. So I got to ask you, how did you catch? What happened to you? Something must have happened to you for you to have caught the para bug, if you will, that you've got and what drives you to do what you do. The floor is yours, brother. I want people to know whatever there is to know about you before this show's over with.
Of course. Well, I mean, everything started for me back when I was about 4 years old. We lived in a house in Puerto Rico. I was born and raised in Puerto Rico, but half of my life was also raised in New York City. But my parents bought a house in Puerto Rico back in 1980, and it was a brand new house. And for some reason, in the back of the house, there was it was a cave. One day, back in, I believe, like, I was born in 1984, and by 1987, my father discovered the cave. They lived there for so many years, but they didn't know that there was a cave back in the back of the house. So he went to explore the cave, and he found candles and some other stuff inside the cave. To make the story short about the cave, before I was born, my brother was a professional boxer. So he used to go training every day just to come back to the house. And one day he came back from training and he fell on the ground, kind of like possessed. He started talking in a different language, and he called out for my mom. So my mom came out running, and when she saw my brother on the floor, she didn't know what to do. So my father ran quickly to the room, grabbed a Bible, grabbed holy water, and they started praying. When they started praying, whatever was inside my brother went inside my mom, and it went to my father, and from there it went out the window. The window completely, it kind of like exploded. Let's put it that way. Um, and from there on, they started having a lot of issues with paranormal activity in the house. This was before I was born. Um, when I turned a year, my brother moved to New York City, so I stayed with my parents in that house since of what I remember, 3 years and a half, 4 years old. I started seeing what seems to be a shadow figure coming out of the closet every night with red eyes, and it would walk out of the closet. It would go down the hall to my parents' room every night. So one night, um, my father he got it. He started to get very sick at the point that they took him to the hospital. He was a veteran, so they took him to the VA hospital to do some checkups on him, and they didn't find nothing. He kept going like that for like 6 months. He lost a lot of weight, and one night, my mom heard my father kind of like he was in pain. When she turned around, she saw my father that he was kind of like levitating, and at the same time, she saw something that was like kind of like grabbing him through the stomach. And when she looked up, she saw the face of what seems to be kind of like a demon. That's what she described. And she got so scared, she covered her face and she started praying. And that thing just went straight to her face, like breathing on her. And when she started praying and praying and praying, that thing left out the window again with the same kind of explosion, this time breaking the window. She called out for help. She went to the Catholic Church in the town that we lived in, Puerto Rico. When the priest was about to enter the house, he just left. He couldn't get in the house. She went to different pastors from different churches. All of them, they tried to go in the house. They couldn't go in the house. So one day, my uncle told her, "Listen, you got to talk to this guy. He's he's not a priest. He was somebody who used to go not go to houses and do cleansings and all this. He used to be a person that used to pray. Kind of like you bring him to the house and he will pray basically. So she talked to him over the phone and he told her just do do prayings for like 9 days, and after that I'm gonna go to the house on the last day. She started doing the prayings for 9 days. On the ninth day, everything went away. But at 2 o'clock in the morning, everything just started to go insane in the house. I mean, poltergeist activity. Everything was flying off the shelves. It was like a strong wind inside the house. We had to leave the house completely. Another thing that I forgot is my father was sick. Um, he was in the hospital because they had to put him in the hospital for a year because they didn't know what he had. So it was something in the house that got him sick too. So we had to leave the house. We never came back to the house, and that was the last time we were in the house. We had to leave the house at 2 o'clock in the morning. I was already like 5 years old when that happened, and after having all these experiences of living in a house that it was haunted and seeing all this kind of paranormal activity, I always stay with that little thing inside of me. I'm like kind of like looking for answers, and that's how I decided to get into the paranormal, to the paranormal investigations or the paranormal research in general. Um, but yeah, it was mainly that made me kind of like I still have a lot of questions about that. And that made me go in a search not only in Puerto Rico but also in the United States, now in Argentina and other countries that I have visited, looking not only to know what happened, just to have the same kind of experience that I had in that house when I was a little kid.
That's scary. That's
Yeah.
scary stuff. Especially when the family's involved. You and I. Oh, I think I lost Bruce. Did I lose you, Bruce? Oh, you're back. Are you back? Your audio cut out. Turn your mic on. Can you see me? I can see him, but I think our audio is dead. Try turning. Can you see me? Can you hear me? No, I don't think he can see me or hear me. No? No. Is your mic off? Try your mic again. Is there a place on your computer where you turn your mic on and off? Hello? No? Try turning your computer off and back on again. No, can't hear you. We can see each other, but we can't hear him. Oh, this is a bummer. Just when things were getting good. He's going to jump off here real quick and jump back on, and we'll see if that fixes the audio. You got, you know, I realize Rick, he's coming in from a long ways away, but sometimes I have people on here from Australia and the UK, and um, uh, so you never know what may go wrong with a live stream like this all the way from Argentina. Hopefully he pops back on here. But yeah, him and I have a lot in common because I was experiencing paranormal stuff when I was young too, and my mother, who's Brazilian, may she rest in peace. I would discuss things with her because I didn't know who else to turn to. So I would confide in her what I was going through, and she would, without going into too much detail and freaking me out worse than I was already freaked out as a little kid, she would, you know, she would try to make me understand there's nothing to be afraid of. These are just mainly ghosts, and a ghost is a person that's dead but that just doesn't have a body any longer. He's trying to come back. Let's see if I've got him. There you go. You're back.
Yes, I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened here.
That's okay. You're coming from a long ways away, and when you live stream shows like this, you never know what's going to
You never know
happen.
what's gonna.
Um, can you see me and hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you and I can see you.
Now I can't see you. There you go. Now you went black again. Can you still hear me? Oh, there you go.
Awesome. I'm so sorry.
That's all right. What do you think? What do
Yes,
you
I can
think it
hear
is?
you.
Do you
Yeah.
think it's just? Do you think it's just the signal? Are you hardwired in, or are we doing Wi-Fi with you?
Yeah, I'm doing Wi-Fi. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's keep our fingers crossed because you seem to be. I can see you now really good, and I can hear you really good. So let's just go with it. Let's keep our fingers crossed. And then again, there may be things that we talk about that you know things we don't want us to talk about certain topics, and they may mess with the. You know how that is. Electronics. A lot
Yeah,
of
yeah.
people. A lot of people don't know that these things. I've experienced powers beyond my control that not only can manipulate electronics, but they can manipulate the weather and the atmosphere around me. So I experience that all the time. I'll keep my fingers crossed that we don't lose you again. But that's something that you and I have in common was experiencing these stuff when I was very young, um, trying to confide, in my mother of all people, what I was going through, and she was trying to help me through that situation. Um, but that stuff can be very frightening. Today, what you mostly do you mostly find yourself just going around being a paranormal investigator, trying to come up with answers for yourself, or do you do your fair share of helping people in their homes, like residential versus commercial? Because you experience that yourself. Maybe you have a soft spot in your heart for people that may be um, going through that same type of thing. Do you get a lot of people that reach out to you for personal help in their homes?
Yeah, back when I was in the US and in Puerto Rico, I was doing constantly paranormal investigations in homes. Now that I'm in Argentina, I don't know a lot of people down here. I basically don't know nobody down here, only my wife. But no, I haven't had that opportunity to do it here in Argentina. But when I was doing it, when I was living in the US and Puerto Rico, yes, I was doing it like 3, 4 times a month actually. And in Puerto Rico, I had the chance of working with a Catholic church, gathering some evidence for two future possible exorcisms. One in the town of Mayagüez, that is kind of like the west coast of Puerto Rico, and the other one south of Puerto Rico, a town called Ponce. The one in Mayagüez, I know the exorcism went through, and the evidence was it was something incredible. It was very scary. I mean, what I experienced in that house, it was just insane. The bed moving kind of like a movie. It was basically kind of like a horror movie. Bed moving, the person that it was possessed, talking in different languages, um, vomiting, stuff like that. It was something really bad, really bad. And I remember I spent a week investigating whatever was going on in the house, and in less than 15 days, they had a priest flying over. I think it was from Colombia going to Puerto Rico to do an exorcism. It was very scary. It was one of the most scary experiences that I ever had. Doing a paranormal investigation. Actually,
Does your wife like what you do?
yeah, she does.
Is she a paranormal investigator too, or does she just let you handle that?
She goes with me when I go to investigate. I'm training her, showing her, guiding her so she can learn a little bit of what to do. But she's kind of like a medium. Even though I'm gonna be very honest, it's not that I don't believe in mediums. It's just when I do investigations, I'm very skeptical about many things. I have to have really powerful truth proof, you know. But I mean, she has impressed me with the way she feels things, and when she sees things and she points at it, and when I use my equipment in certain areas where she's pointing at it, I mean, the equipment doesn't lie, the K2 meter goes off, the rampa goes crazy. I get EVPs. So yeah, I'm quite impressed with her gift in a way.
Very cool, very cool. Yeah, that's another thing we have in common. My wife and I were introduced on a blind date 20 plus years ago, and we realized right off the bat, talking, that we both had uh, a, a shared passion for the paranormal and everything spooky, and so it was a no-brainer to start a team then. And she's like that too. She's a 2 or 3 time near-death experience survivor, and each of these situations she returned with a heightened sensitivity towards spirit. She doesn't like to call herself a medium or a psychic, but I refer to her as my human dowsing rods, because if we go someplace, she's like your wife. She can hone in on stuff, and I'm a big fan. I have to admit, I can count them on both hands, so I don't know a lot of them. But I do know some, in my humble opinion, some truly gifted psychic mediums that I personally find, if they are truly gifted, and a lot of them, believe it or not, don't want to do paranormal investigations. They get enough of that just with their gift and being bombarded with spirit all the time, wanting to, either be used as a trance medium or just get their message across to a loved one or what have you. So they get that enough. They don't like to, you know, go out and meet it on the terms of a paranormal investigation. But I find having a psychic on the team, if they're truly gifted, invaluable. Um, do you have an actual? Is the team just you and sometimes your wife, or Do you have other team members? And if so, what are your feelings on yay or nay when it comes to investigating with a psychic medium, having one on your team? Because a lot of teams out here in the US, they don't like to have a psychic on their team, but there's a lot of them that do have very gifted psychic mediums that, like I said, that I think are invaluable to have as a team member. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, for the past years, mm, I would say for the past 8 years, I've been doing paranormal investigations by myself. Sometimes I take my wife with me to certain locations that I know that it's not so bad, because I already had a really bad experience with her. I took her to a hotel in here in Argentina. That is one of the most haunted hotels in Latin America. It's called Eden Hotel. It's related to Hitler and this World War II. So a lot of really bad things happen there. There's a lot of demonic activity because the hotel was abandoned for many years, and it was used for satanic rituals for many years. So I took her there, and I mean, it was so bad for her. It was really bad. I mean, when the person is very sensitive and all the bad energy goes straight to them. I mean, I have my wife basically collapse on the floor, so I had to take her out of the hotel fast. It was really, really bad. And since that day that happened, I'm very cautious where I take her. But for the past 8 years, I've been investigating alone. And the reason that I've been investigating alone is just trying trying to train my mind, trying to train myself, um, not to be scared, not only at the dark, but at everything. Sometimes you go to a location, you start hearing footsteps, and when you do the research, it's just that the place is old, the wood. So I'm trying to train myself to learn the sounds, not only nature, but in the locations, so I can get a better feeling, a better judgment when it comes to do the paranormal investigations. But before that, in Puerto Rico, yeah, I had a team. It was called Caribbean Paranormal Society. We used to investigate all over Puerto Rico and all over the Caribbean. And yeah, I actually had two two persons that they were mediums. Her name is Limari, and Cynthia was another one. They were both mediums, and sometimes they were right on point on the locations that we visited. But even like that, I was very kind of like not. I would say a little skeptical, um, just because sometimes I try to be very scientific about all this, but not even science sometimes can explain this, and it's true.
Yeah, absolutely. That's another thing
Yeah.
you and I have in common. My wife is a survivor of an extreme demonic attack. This attack almost took her life, and it got so bad that I actually walked away from the deliverance ministry for a couple of years there because I was done with it. I was there's nothing wrong with we're only human. There's nothing wrong with having fear. Fear is a good thing. Um, so now that she has recovered, thank you Jesus, she's very stubborn and she has no fear. She wants to continue working cases, but I try to work these cases behind her back without her really knowing because I'll be honest with you, if I go to a case and it's truly demonic, they immediately start talking to me about her because they know what we went through and that she was targeted and they almost got her, almost succeeded there. So that can be very scary. So that's another thing that we got in common. I too had a team once, and the reason why I don't have a team any longer was because I had several team members that came under attack, got very ill or worse, and it got to the point where I didn't want to be responsible for dragging, even if people come willingly and they're passionate about it and they say, I accept this responsibility, under my own volition, don't worry about me. As a team leader, you still worry about them, and no one hurts more than you when you see not only a family member, but good friends that our fellow team members go through these things. You feel like you're responsible in a way. So that's why I eventually got out of having a team, and now I just basically do it by myself, which isn't the best either. But I got to ask you, what scares you, and how close? I know some of the places you've gone to are violently haunted off the charts. What scares you, and how close have you come to walking away from this thing that you do?
Oh my God. You know, my brother, my brother's always the one kind of like telling me, why are you wasting your time? Why are you why are you doing this to yourself? Every time you go to investigate a location, this is what he tells me. You lose light because these things get attached to you. And he's the one who's been bugging me about it. But I think I'm gonna do this until the day that I die. One, because I like it. I actually enjoy it. I love it. Um, and the reason for that is not only because I'm looking for answers. It's just because there's a story behind all these locations. There's a history. I mean, I'm an archaeologist, and I love history. And sometimes we focus a lot on the spirits, on the energy inside of these locations, but we don't focus a lot on the history. We don't focus a lot. Yes, what happened? Somebody who something tragic happened in that place, but before that, what it used to be. So I try to recreate that um, by investigating because sometimes the location has a lot to offer. Not only because the goals or whatever, it's just the structure. There's clues around, and that's one of the reasons that I love to investigate. It's kind of like putting together a puzzle, you know. And so I see myself doing this for the rest of my life. To be honest, even if I'm 100 years old and I hardly can walk, I'm still going to be investigating. I can tell you that.
That would be new. I don't think I've seen an investigation yet where the person's extremely old and being pushed around in a wheelchair, if you will. That would be quite interesting. Um, Let me ask you this. Well, you can't blame your brother for feeling that way, and he's got a point there. I talk to a lot of people who I live in a haunted house. I don't seem to be affected. Of course, that's I don't see myself through other eyes. I don't feel like it affects me very much. My wife doesn't seem to mind it very much, but I've seen people who live in haunted locations and just even though they don't interact with the spirit much, your brother's right in the sense that I don't even know if sometimes the spirits are aware that they're doing it, but they do attach because they want that energy. And as they're taking your energy, it's taking its toll on you. And usually, it manifests in a person's health deteriorating. And sometimes, if they don't know that they're around spirit, they don't know. Let me throw this at you. I'm the first one to admit that I'm not an expert in anything. I don't have all the answers. Um, I don't think anybody does. I tell people all the time, I can't come over and wave a magic wand and make everything that's tormenting you go away. I need you to be ready to do what it takes for you to help yourself and for you to help me help you. Let's work as a team and we'll find out what's going on here and we'll try and turn your life around and get you get things normal again. Having said that, I have a good friend here in town he's had a paranormal team. Mainly it's his family, but he's got other team members that he knows, and um, he refers to them as jumpers because he's been jumped a time or two himself. But you got to worry about everything. You can't just worry about demons. Spirits too can jump you and almost mimic a demonic possession because they just like trans mediums invite these spirits in and these spirits talk through them. There's nothing demonic there. It's just a spirit and the person's allowing it to happen. But these things can tell, like you said earlier in the show, I believe they can tell who's psychically gifted because we look different to them from their perspective and they latch on to that, and that can be a very dangerous thing. um, what do you think about this new phenomena, some of these locations like you talked earlier about the one that had the background, the Nazi background to it, and a lot of evil took place in this hotel. What do you think about these, for lack of a better term, I'm just going to call it non-human entities or even elementals, if you will, but they're not really elementals. But these entities that a lot of investigators claim form out of the atmosphere. They just kind of are created from the evil that has taken place in these locations. They're not demonic, they're not spirit entities, but they're these entities that form out of the evil of this place. And they don't have any fear of God. They don't aren't human spirits, so you can't talk to them like that. They're not demonic. So when you try to expel them from these locations, you run into they don't act normal, but they seem to want to attach to humans and make their life a living hell and extremely miserable, and they're hard to get rid of the out of these places. Have you experienced that? And what do you really think these entities are? And do you believe in that these forces can be not necessarily conjured, but created by the atmosphere?
Yes. Um, and I'm gonna use the example of the hotel that I was telling you earlier, the Eden Hotel here in Argentina. One of the Today that hotel is kind of like it's a historic location. It's just kind of like a museum, but they do different activities there. They have like a ballroom where people do activities and stuff like that, and it's not used no more like as a hotel because it was abandoned for many years. It was actually constructed in 1896, so it's pretty old. A lot of really bad things happen. Um, Many people die there constructing the hotel. I'm talking about probably 50 people died constructing the hotel alone, and many disappeared. But the thing is, during some, I think it's Fridays and Saturdays at night, they used the basement and part of the second floor of the hotel as a haunted attraction where they bring people, they walk them through the area, and they scare the people out. They basically scare them. I think this feeds these energies there, this fear of these 20 or 40 people that go there each hour, walk through the hallways in fear because it's very dark, or they just scared of whatever they're going to see in the hotel. So I feel like this fear feeds these energies, and they manifest themselves more. The thing is about this hotel is not only that it's haunted by these different entities, it has to do a lot with numbers. See, the person who constructed this hotel, he was a he was a person that believed in different religions, but mainly kind of like in a uh, kind of like a Celtic Celtic religion in a way, in a Celtic belief.
Hmm.
So it was everything about numbers. So when you go to the hotel, you see number six in different stairs. You go to different areas of the hotels, you see six. And you go to another room and you will see something that resembles the number six, you know? And where it's constructed back then, 300, 400 years ago, where the natives lived in that area, um, that ground there was sacred. But it was sacred because you couldn't go there because something evil was there. So they were protecting people from going there because if you will go in there, you will come, you will need, you will never come back. That's what they told the Spanish. But at the end, when they bought that land, when the owners of the hotel bought that land, they constructed the hotel. And since day one, a lot of bad things started to happen there, you know. But yeah, I do believe that these energies can attach to you. Um, it's energies that somehow will come from nowhere, basically, you know. And I feel sometimes the location attracts these energies from different areas too, you know. I believe that.
That's a good theory, and that is a phenomena that I find very interesting. How these things, because like I said, they're not elementals. Although I believe in the elementals too. They're not elementals, and they're not human spirits. They're not demonic, but they seem to be created by. And it only happens. I've only experienced them in places where I know evil exists. Like we had a haunted mansion here in town that I was one of the few people that was able to get in there and investigate this haunted mansion. Well, one time, it was built back in the day exclusively to have like Gatsby style parties there. Just all any kind of debauchery that you can imagine that could take place at a location, it would happen at this place. And it also was mob run for many years. So there were people that went to many parties there that never were seen again. They
Wow.
believed there was a mob hit house. There bodies buried on the property, a lot of stuff. But what I encountered there was it just there was a one of many staircases that went up to a loft back into some secret rooms. Well, underneath that staircase, there was just this floating, swirling black tornado. Not a human form. It never manifested into a shadow figure or a three-dimensional black body or anything else. It wouldn't mimic like a doppelganger or anything like that. Never any verbal communication. EVPs, you can never get any voices on it, but it would just stay under the stairs. Now, depending on, you had to hold on to the stair railing going up and going down because almost every single person that went up and down these stairs, usually going down, were either pushed or picked up and thrown down the stairs. And a couple of deaths occurred during, people being tossed down these stairs. So I believe that that thing was conjured from probably many of the mob deaths and murders that occurred there, along with God only knows whatever other kind of evils were performed in this home. But that's very scary stuff. Um, what I'll ask you this in the short time we have left. Like I said, it's you're one of those people that I look at you and you shine to me as just the kind of people that should be in this field. I meet people all the time that I don't tell them, but in the back of my mind, I'm thinking this guy's not cut out for this. And I have plenty of people that reach out to me all the time. Father Shawn, why don't you take me on a case? I would love to learn what you do. Well, now all I work is dark cases, so I just tell them, if it was back in the day when me and my wife first met and started Ghost Be Gone, and we were just, paranormal investigating, yeah, I would take you in a heartbeat. Now I can't take you on these types of cases because there's no way to really train you unless you're being called to deliverance ministry. There's no way for me to really train you in how to do what I do. But I tell them you got to get some training. Unfortunately, I can't do it, but you got to find an experienced paranormal investigator that's passionate, talented, knows what he's doing, he or she knows what they're doing, and they're a good teacher. And you need to get some training before you just go out and buy some equipment and start going to these locations. You're going to find yourself at the wrong place at the wrong time, saying and doing the wrong thing, provoking when you shouldn't provoke, and you're going to have issues. So give everybody that might be watching or listening that thinks about doing this or starting a team, give everybody a big what you should do if you want to be
Well,
successful, and then give everybody a big don't do this. Don't ever do this because you're in for failure.
first of all, um, a lot of people want to do this because they see a lot of YouTubers doing it right now. You know, I'm one of um I'm one of them that I'm always watching YouTubers because that's what I consume. YouTube and Netflix. Let's put it that way. It's not like what you see on YouTube. It could be very dangerous. Very dangerous. I've been doing this for since 2003. It's been 20 years now. 20 no, 21 years. Oh my god. 21 years. I've been around very professional investigators. I've been around investigators that many people have seen on TV, from ghost hunters to some of ghost adventures. Let's put it that way. I'm not gonna mention names, but I've been working I've worked in different TV productions for paranormal TV shows, so I know what's up basically. But I know you know I know the other thing about what is being a paranormal investigator. First of all, learn your history. Learn the history of the location. Do not go it alone on your first investigation. Please do not go it alone. Make sure you go with somebody because you never know what could happen to you. Not only, with the paranormal, but just in general. It could be very dangerous. Two, get to know yourself first. Know yourself first. Know your abilities. Know your weakness. Three, do not provoke. Do not provoke, please. Do not provoke. Not It doesn't work in every location. Sometimes you can provoke something and it's not what you think it is. It could be something evil and sometimes it could get attached to you. You can bring it to your house and it could be hell for you. In your home, especially when you have family, kids, really bad. Four, if you go to if you go to investigate a location, and people who pass there speak a different language, either Spanish, German, English, whatever. If you want to communicate, use the language they used to speak. You're gonna be fascinated. You're gonna be surprised with the evidence that you're gonna catch on not only on camera but also on digital recorders. You know, just it's impossible to tell you not to be scared because we human beings. Sometimes we're gonna have fear. We're gonna be scared. But listen to this: when you're scared, you're gonna, for some reason, these energies already smell that you're scared, and they're gonna try to do the impossible to make you leave or just to get attached to you. So it's impossible to tell you not to be scared, but please do not be scared. Do a prayer. Say a prayer when you go in, before you go in, and when you go out after you finish the investigation. When you go out, do a prayer too. I mean, it's good for the soul, and also it's gonna help you a lot. And prepare yourself if you go to a location where it's high on energy, because you're gonna be so drained. I mean, that has happened to me almost all the time that I go to investigate. I've been there, I don't know, 12, 15 hours investigating. When I come out, it feels like I've been there for like, I don't know, like 3 days in a row without sleeping. That's how it feels sometimes.
Yeah.
Just be safe. Be safe. Those That's all I can tell you. Be safe.
Good advice, brother. Very good advice. Did you have fun when you come back?
Yes, of course, yes.
I love you, brother. I respect you. I think you're super cool. I'm not. There's so much more I want to talk to you about. I only got to a couple of questions on here that some of your fans and followers have sent through. What do you want people to really know about you before um, I say goodbye to you? Where can they see you? Where can they watch you? Website, YouTube channel, all that sort of stuff. Tell everybody everything there is about you if they want to check you out.
Well, they can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, by Bruce J. Otero. Or they can search by Bruce Paranormal, and yeah, and they can find me there. Right now, I'm working on different investigations in Argentina. I have a lot of followers from the US and from Australia and the UK. I'm going to be doing investigations in English, even though during my investigations I'm going to be speaking Spanish because I'm communicating with something, that, you know, basically the energies they used to speak Spanish back in the day when they were humans. So, um, but yeah, I'm going to be doing some investigations in English, and I'm going to be uploading it to YouTube so everybody can get to know the different locations that I'm exploring and investigating down here in Argentina, and they can get to know the history in English, because I know that's very important for a lot of the viewers. So that's one of the things that I'm working on, and yeah, I'm basically going to be investigating by myself, and you're going to see a lot of crazy location and a lot of crazy stuff. Basically, let's put it that way.
Very good. Well, brother, like I said, I love you and respect you. I think you're super cool. I'll add you and your wife to my prayer list. I will be praying for you two often. Reach out to me for any reason, any at all. If you ever just need a shoulder to cry on, an ear to chew on, or some advice, or I can't give you any advice. You know what you're doing. But reach out to me for anything. I'll throw some open dates at you here in a few weeks and try and get you back this summer after you've gotten some of your investigations out of the way. But have a wonderful remainder to your Friday evening there in Argentina. Give your wife a big hug and a kiss for me. God bless you, and I'll talk to you soon, brother.
Thank you so much. Amen to that.
Take care, brother. I'll talk to you soon. Bruce J. Otero of Bruce Paranormal. I told you you guys were going to love him. You know what? I feel because of some of the things we talked about, I feel the need to offer up a prayer for all of us here. If you're within the sound of my voice and you're watching this show, in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, in his name and by the power of his cross and blood, I ask Jesus to bind any evil spirits, forces, and powers of the earth, air, fire, or water, of the netherworld and the satanic forces of nature. By the power of the Holy Spirit and by his authority, I ask Jesus Christ to break any curses, hexes, or spells and send them back to where they came from, if it be his holy will. I beseech thee, Lord Jesus, to protect us by pouring thy precious blood on us, my family, my friends, everyone within the sound of my voice, watching and listening to this show, which thou hast shed for us. And I ask thee to command that any departing spirits leave quietly, without disturbance. Go straight to thy cross to dispose of as thou seest fit. I ask you to bind any demonic interaction, interplay, or communications. I place this whole place under the protection of the blood of Jesus Christ, which he shed for us. Amen. Okay, guys, be careful out there. Next week's guest is you, each and every one of you. It is First Fridays with Annette and Father Shawn, where Annette and I, it's an open mic. That's Friday, the 7th of February. Annette and I, and just you guys. Open chat, open mic format. You guys put our feet to the fire about anything you want to talk to us about. And it's just a one on one with you all, the guests, and the audience, and Annette and I. And once again, on that topic, please remember to keep Annette, her brother Richie, and her whole family in your prayers. And let's keep our fingers crossed she's back next week with me because I miss her and I love her and respect her too. And I hope everything's going to work out okay. I love and respect each and every one of you too because I don't have a show without you guys. So God bless each and every one of you. Let me give you. Let's end on a lighter note. Let me give you this week's joke. My hat is full here of jokes. Everybody's been sending me in all these jokes. Here's this week's joke. What has four wheels and flies? A garbage truck. That's pretty good. Keep the jokes coming, guys. So you, it's please everybody have a wonderful remainder to your weekend, and thank you all for tuning in. Remember, we may have done what the devil said we did, but we are not who the devil says that we are. Good night, Danny. Good night, Jack. Good night, Dog. Good night, Harold. Rest in peace. Good night, Ernie. Good night, Bill. Good night, Dan. I love you all. God bless you all in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. Peace. And stay tuned for Spirit Switchboard coming up next on UPRN, hosted by Carrie Lynn Shellhorn. I love you all. Good night, everybody.